Well, hello, my name's Ernest Pierucci. I'm a member of the Integral Alumni Council Board of Directors. And today it's my great pleasure to interview uh, Bill Gray, who was a classmate of mine. And Bill's had a very interesting career after Integral. And we're going to learn a little bit about that today. So hello, Bill, you ready?
Yes, sir. Hello, Ernest.
Okay. Okay. Well, so my first question or set of questions is, how did you find out about Integral? Why did you enter the program? And what do you think were the most important aspects of the program for you?
Well, I found out about it because I went to a Christian Brothers high school um, and in Berkeley, and they were talking about the different options and told me about St. Mary's. I actually wasn't initially too interested in St. Mary's until I heard about the program. And then I was fascinated with the fact that we would go back and sort of look at the found Western civilization. At that point in my life, I didn't have any particular career focus, so that was very appealing to me. And I don't know, as far as what were the most important things, is that what you asked?
The most important aspects of the program for you?
Yeah, I'd say it was seminar versus lecture. I think I really had enough lecture in high school, and I was ready to just be able to share ideas and be able to explore a little more. So that was fast. That was really something that fascinated me. Yeah.
Well, skipping ahead just a little bit, I know you went on to do some graduate work in the history and philosophy of science. How did you find obviously the math and science appeal to you as well?
Yeah, well, one of the probably in the program, one of the things that I enjoyed the most was the mathematics. Going through and learning about Euclid, the definitions, the propositions. I just really enjoyed that. And we went, all the way up to Darwin and beyond. So leaving the Integral, I wasn't quite sure what to do. I really thought I wanted to teach. And so getting a history degree appealed to me, and getting into the history and philosophy of science was just great. It was really fascinating. And I think especially coming from the background we did, which was from exploring the foundations, it really prepared me for it even better than some of my classmates. Some of them were more science majors, and I think struggled a little with trying.
Bill, you cut out with struggled a little with trying. The
Sorry,
frailties
must
of
be the
Zoom.
connection. Must be a bad connection. So I'm not sure where I was, but I was just saying that I think I brought a lot to learning the history and philosophy of science because of the Integral program. And I think I mentioned that I think having the history part, I might have struggled a little bit with the science, but I think it might have been harder for some of the people who came into the program with science background, and they struggled a little with the idea of history and trying to delve into where all this came from. So it was really enjoyable.
Well, ultimately, you didn't stick it out for the PhD.
No, and I decided some of it was money. I just was running out of money. but I decided to come back to California and start teaching. And so I taught high school for a few years. Uh, and all that taught me was that maybe education wasn't what I was in for. So we all explore and find different paths. And that's when I diverted off into a business career.
And do two things for us. Kind of outline your business career and tell us, which I think included getting an MBA at Berkeley, and tell us how Integral impacted that, if it did.
Well, I think, yeah. So I did get into the Master's in Business Administration program at Berkeley. And I tend to think the integral background and the history and philosophy of science might have helped a little in getting into the MBA, because I think they had mostly people that were on a very straight career path. And my background was different. And so I think it helped me get in. And, you know, I might mention it a couple of times, but I think integral makes you really open to new experiences and to learning new things and new ideas. And so it was very natural somehow for me to switch over to learning about economics. My major was in economics and finance, and those things seemed to just come pretty naturally. So, you know, a lot of the people in the program with me were people who were engineers or had business degrees. And again, I think just being able to bring some new ideas and some different perspective to it was very helpful.
So where'd your career go after you got the MBA?
Well, I worked for most of my career with Hewlett Packard Company. And again, maybe I would say, especially these days, I don't think anybody has one career. You kind of move through life. It's a little bit of an adventure and you try different things. Even within that one company, because it was so big, I had a lot of different experiences. I was negotiating contracts, international contracts. I was teaching some classes within that program. And then I got into management, and most of my career I was in management. And I was mostly managing supply chains, international supply chains, which meant under me I had people who were buyers or analysts, very mathematically oriented, or engineers. I had to manage all those kinds of people. And then all of it was international. So we were trying to work with people from, you know, in the morning we'd be talking to Germany, and in the evening we'd be talking to Singapore. And so, again, I think being able to work across so many disciplines and cultures and different kinds of people, because engineers are very different than other kinds of people. I think the integral helped. It just opens your mind enough that you're accepting of different ideas and different kinds of people.
So when did you retire?
I retired in 2007. So it's been a few years now.
God bless you. That's a good long retirement so far.
Yeah, we were able to make that work, and it allowed me to open up to do a lot of other things, a lot of community service and other things I'm interested in.
Well, we want to get to that. You've been very active in your community. So what have you done and why'd you do it?
Well, it's probably kind of a laundry list of things. Early on, I got onto a school board, a public elementary school board, and that was very interesting. We were trying to acquire property and build a new elementary school, so I learned a lot through that. Then later, I got onto a Catholic school school board. I was president of that, and so you really saw the difference in the way that two different organizations manage things. Yeah, other than that, I did join the Red Cross and was on one of their disaster teams to help people who had their homes burned down. I taught again for a while. I taught a credential program at Sac State, and then I got on the grand jury at one point in the county. I then volunteered at the library. And because I wanted to volunteer at the library, after I retired, I went back to school. I went back to Sac City College and got an AA degree in library technology. And it was just for the fun of it, just to learn the Dewey Decimal System in depth. So, you know, it was just trying to try a lot of different things. Currently, I'm a docent with the museums and here in the county. And I also belong to a retired men's group. I'm one of the leaders of a retired men's group. I guess.
Well, now, Bill, you said you got on a local school board. You know, you have to run for that, don't you? Isn't that you have to stand for election?
Yeah, but I have to admit it wasn't real competitive, but still, it was. Yeah, it's something you have to really put yourself out for. Yeah. But I guess
So
I don't know. Go ahead.
What are your horizons for service? I mean, you have anything else new in mind?
Right now, no, I enjoy reading and learning new things. But you know, I play bocce ball and I enjoy that. So
Do you have a bocce ball court at home?
no, but there's one locally, so we get out and play that a lot.
That's great. You never cross over and do a little boule.
No,
French
I
game. No,
I know
okay.
I haven't.
Bill, tell us about your family. I know you've got a wonderful family. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I met my wife Jean at Indiana University, and she got a degree, a master's degree, and worked at Hewlett Packard with me. I mean, in a different organization. She was a project manager. We've had 3 kids and 4 grandkids.
Ah,
Our kids have done interesting things. One went to the Naval Academy, and he's a commander. He was a helicopter pilot. Now he's a commander in the Navy. Another one joined the Secret Service. He's currently a supervisor of one of their, the resident in charge of one of their locations. My daughter is a systems administrator at UCLA. My daughter-in-law was a helicopter pilot, and now she's a safety inspector for the FAA. And my son-in-law works for JPL, and so he's a programmer who helps to drive the Curiosity, the rover up on Mars. So yeah, they've all done very interesting things. They're all very accomplished.
how old are your grandchildren?
Grandchildren, the oldest is 6 and the youngest is 1. So they're pretty young.
Yeah, you've got an adventure ahead of you. Well, so, you know, if you were talking to somebody who is thinking about going to the integral program, you're talking to the parents of somebody who is thinking of going into the integral program, what would you tell them about the program?
Yeah, that's interesting. And I mean, our experience, I hate to say how long ago it was, but it was almost 50 years ago, I think. So things might have changed. The world's changed a little bit. I would say that for me, it was a wonderful immersive experience. You could really step back and plow very deeply. You didn't just skim across a lot of things. You plowed deeply into some really important aspects of our civilization. I do think you have to be prepared to sort of step out of the day-to-day current events and be willing to, you know, set those aside and step back in time. But I think once you emerge from that, I wouldn't say it's a cocoon, but once you emerge from that, I think you can look at the current world from a whole different perspective. I think it gives you a much better way of, deeper way of analyzing what's going on and you see how a lot of things aren't that different than the way they've been in the past, and it might give you some better ideas for solutions to things.
Well, let me prompt you a little bit, or prod you a little bit, I guess. You've just described a life that has had many twists and turns and many interests over a long period of time. Would you say that the Integral program has treated you well and done right by you over all those twists and turns and developments and changes?
Yeah, I believe so. I hadn't thought about it. There was a quote that I remember. It really struck me when I was reading Lord of the Rings. And there was a line in there. It said something like, not all those who wander are lost. And I felt that sort of summed up my life a little bit, because I always felt that that the thread through my life was the interest in learning, the interest in trying new things, and I think the Integral was a great jumping off point for that. It made your mind a little more flexible and allowed you to absorb things that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise. So yeah, I think overall it's been a great plus for me. Plus all the friends I had there and kept all these years.
Deep friendships
Right.
are forged. There's no question about that. Yeah, you got a choice. It's either friendship is the better choice if you're there all together. Well, Bill, I
You're
want to thank.
immersed in the program, and really another thing that was good for me personally was small groups. The seminars were small. We were able to really get to know the tutors. We really could know the fellow students, and that developed trust. And I think we were able to open up a little more. And by opening up personally, I think that lets you opens you up to learning.
Well, Bill, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk with us this morning, and I hope to see you soon.
You too, Ernest, and take care of yourself. Stay safe.
God bless you.